Good day, everybody. My name is Mr. Okoko Isaac, and I'll be taking us in mathematics this day. Today, we are still continuing from where we started last week in fraction. But before we start with today's topic, I'd like to do a quick recap of what we've done so far. Remember, we told us a fraction is a part of a whole in a numeral. And I remember we also taught that fraction consists of how many parts? Two parts, which is the numerator and the denominator. Also, we were told we have different types of fraction, which include the proper fraction, the improper fraction, and the mixed fraction. Today, we are narrowing it down to addition and subtraction of like fractions. When we say like fractions, what do we mean by like fractions? Like fractions are fractions that have the same denominator. Like fractions are fractions that have the same denominator. Take, for example, if I should give you 2 over 9 plus 3 over 9. These fractions are what? Are like fractions. Why? Because they have the same denominator, the denominator of the same value. You can give you other examples. You have what? Can I hear you? 2, okay, let's say 3 over what? 8. Beautiful. Minus, yes, 1 over 8. This is also an example of like fractions. Now, these denominators that you see, the denominators can be bigger than this and it can be smaller than this, but you must understand that they are of same value. They are of what? Same value. Quickly, we'll look at some examples and how to solve each questions under this topic. Our first example today says we have 23 over 50 plus 16 over 50. Now you can see I decided to use a bigger number for my denominator. And the denominators here are of what? Same value. You have 50 and 50. So I have my solution for us to start our work proper. 23 over 50 plus 16 over 50. It will be written in this format as 23 plus 16 over 50. Now, some of you will be wondering, why did we bring down just single 50? And why did we bring down both denominators at 50 plus 50? If you want to look for the LCM of 50 and 50, which we'll be looking at when we're treating on like fraction, you'll find that you still end up getting the same value, which is 50. And besides, since both numbers are of same values, you don't need to look for the LCM. You just bring it down straightforward and continue with our work. So quickly, let's go. 23 plus 16. In your jotter, you have your 23 plus 16. This is 9, and this is what? 3, which is equal to 39 over 50. Now look at this fraction carefully. What type of fraction do you think this is? This is a what? This is a proper fraction. Now can we reduce this fraction to a lower fraction? No. We can't reduce this fraction to a lower fraction. Why? Because they are not of the same value, or we don't have the same number that can reduce them to a smaller fraction. So therefore, our final answer will be 39/50. Straight away we move on to another example. This time around, the example we want to look at is something a little bit different from what we've just done so far. Or let's look at an example with something that is still the same as this. Example 2. Example 2, we have 23/37 minus 13/37. What's the first thing you observe here? Both have the same fraction, which means they are what? Like fractions. And the denominators are the same. So we go straight into solving this question. We have 23/37 minus 13/37. Remember what we said, you have to start with your what? Your numerator, which is 23 minus 13 over, are we going to bring down both denominators? No, we are bringing down just one. Why? Because they are of what? Same value. They are of same value. So we have our 37. So you go to your rough sheet, you have your 23 and your 13. 3 minus 3 you have 0, 2 minus 1 you have 1. So that's equal to 10/37. Can we reduce this to a smaller fraction? We can see that it's similar to what we have in our first example. No. So therefore, our final answer will be 10/37. Now, remember I told us we're about to look at something slightly different from what we have here. This time around, we want to look at examples, just in case you're given work that have to do with numbers or fractions, whereby you have to reduce it to a smaller fraction. How do you go about it? What are you going to do about it? Let's look at some examples on that. The next example we have here, which will be our example 3. We have it as, let's say 12/30 plus 6/30. So go straight forward. So you have it as a 12/30 plus 6/30. What's the next thing we do? We arrange it as your numerator first. 12 plus 6 over, you bring down your denominator. You already know what you are supposed to do in a case like this. So just bring down the value there, 30. And that will be equal to what? 12 plus 6 will give us 18/30. Now, 18/30, is this going to be your final answer? Definitely no. In this case, it can be reduced to a smaller fraction. But what is the common value that we can use in reducing it to a smaller fraction? We can use 2. Yes, we can use 2. So we have 18/30. 18 divided by 2 and your 30 divided by 2. 18 divided by 2 will give us what? 9 over 30 divided by 2 will give us 15. Now, looking at this still, is this going to be our final answer? No. We can still reduce it. Although we would have used a bigger number to just do it once and for all. But for the sake of some people, some of the pupils, that want to take it bit by bit, we have to start with a smaller number. So we have 9 over 15. What's the common value that we can use in reducing 9 and 15? Yes, 3. Beautiful. Put your hands together for yourself. So we have 9 over 15 as 9 divided by 3 and 15 divided by 3. 9 divided by 3 will give us what? 3. And 15 divided by 3 will give us 5. Now you can see that we don't have a common value that can reduce 3 and 5 anymore. So this will be the final answer. So therefore our answer will be 3 over 5. I hope we're all following with this class. So I'll give you one more example this time around involving subtraction. And I believe you should be able to solve that if called upon to take it any day, anytime. So quickly, let's look at the last example. Example, that will be example 4. Example 4, we have 15 over 40 minus 5 over 40. Now somebody quickly tell me, what's the first thing to do? You write out your questions. So we have a 15 over 40 minus 5 over 40. The next thing you do, like we've been treating, we start with our numerators. When it's 15 minus 5, all over, you bring down just one value since they are of same value, which is 40. So everybody scream it out. 15 minus 5 will give us what? 10. Beautiful. Over 40. Yeah, I can see some people already jumping and stretching out their hands as if they're in the class. And I know you know what's going to happen here. Remember what we did here. 10 and 40 are what? Same value. And so we have to look for a common value that can reduce it. And what's the common value? 4? No. Okay. 2. Beautiful. So we have a 10 over 40, which was 10 divided by 2. And then 40 divided by 2. You have your what? 5. And you have your what? 20. Oh, there's something that can be done here. Yeah, you have same value, that's the numerator, which can also reduce it. That's 5 divided by 5 and 20 divided by 5. So you have the 5 over 20 divided by 5. They have the same value. 5 and 20 have a common value, which is what? 5. So 5 divided by 5 will give you 1. 20 divided by 5 will give us 4. Therefore, our final answer will be 1 over 4. Now we come to the end of today's class. Without being told, I want to believe you all understand how to solve questions involving addition and subtraction of like fractions. Remember, we said what like fractions are fractions that have the same denominators. It can be 1 over 1000, it can be 2 over 300 plus 6 over 300, and so on and so forth. But the most important thing is you should be able to solve such questions when given to you. Right after this video, other questions will be coming up. I expect you to solve those questions and do it neatly in a well-presentable manner. If you have any other questions, you can drop your questions at the comment section. Thank you. You have a blessed day.